Hello, Wankers.
What's up, Vankers?
What's up, Vankas? This is Vanka Hours, brought to you by BetMGM. We're back for another killer episode. Guenther's wearing a fun shirt, so it's going to be a fun episode, dude. We got so much to get to today.
Thanks for the commentary on my shirt. You know,
Well, it looks great, and we both immediately commented on it because it's giving a fun vibe.
Drop the designer. Who is it?
Yeah, who are you wearing, Guenther?
I don't know. I need to see I need to check the brand.
Take it off.
No.
Take it off.
Take it off.
You don't want to see that.
Okay, there's so much to get to. I mean, we've got Baku, we've got this Daniel Ricciardo, basically news at this point, but strong rumors. We've got so much to cover, from qualifying to the crash to the race, everything, the further implications. But Guenther, where should we begin?
Let's start with my new book. I got delivered the first new book.
Damn! Wow, he's hawking the book, dude.
No!
Wow. Oh. Wait, let the people see that again.
That was
You see,
quick.
it was delivered yesterday.
That was like an
delivered
F1 car. That was an F1 car zipping by.
Whoa,
Hold it still.
My God.
So I need to send you some copies, guys.
That's
Anyway.
right.
That's right.
Then, okay.
That's gorgeous.
Could you
I know.
send Brian an audiobook? Is there any way to do that?
Can you read it
yet?
to me, because I kind of hate physically reading.
You're lazy.
No, I'm probably like dyslexic. Is probably what it actually is.
All right.
But,
All right.
Baku 2024. Where are we starting, Guenther?
There's so much, It's like rookie drivers, race control.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you were having some opinions about race control. You want to start there?
Yeah, in the end of the race, the VSC, I was thinking it's never nice to finish a race under yellow, VSC, whatever, under caution, call it like this,
Yeah.
So, a lot of sports are doing overtime, correct?
Mm-hmm.
In F1, you don't do overtime. Guess why? No fuel.
Right.
But if you put out a red flag and you go and refuel the cars and do another 2 laps, how about that?
Is it?
Now you're speechless, yeah?
We love we love that. We're all about red flagging and making it exciting at the end. I think. Would you do? Here's the question: Would you do a standing start, or would you do a rolling start? Because I feel like there's sometimes people get back and forth. Remember at the end of, I think it was Australia a couple years ago, where they did it, and it was kind of like people's races kind of got ruined, and they did it 3 times because then there's crashes, and sometimes that can muddle the race. Would you do standing or rolling start?
I would do rolling start if it is only 2 laps to go, just, to make it a little bit, otherwise the race never finishes. But it would be cool, like Baku, think about it, if they would have red flagged it, cleaned the track, everybody goes back, they go to the pits anyway, but you push them into the pits, you're allowed to work on the car anyway. You have to refuel for another 2-3 laps, You leave everything like it is, you go out again, and then you do a rolling start.
Yeah, it just sometimes I like the idea and concept, but there's another concept that's kind of irking me. It was just like one of my favorite drivers, maybe my favorite driver, is going to win the race. And imagine if like Logan Sargent puts it in the wall, and now because of this, he has to now, that doesn't seem exactly fair that he has to now do a rolling start, and his gap is now shredded that he's built up, his 3-4 second gap. Now he's got the field is shrunk again.
Yeah, but it's overtime. Why is it unfair? He has got the same opportunity. He has got the better opportunity. If he messes it up, he shouldn't deserve to win.
But overtime generally implies that the teams were tied. So I guess if it's like, if you're within, what if it's like if the leaders are within a certain amount of seconds to each other?
There you go.
But if you're up by a minute,
no. You're making it already too complicated.
Well,
you're talking. I mean, have you been working in Formula One or for the FIA? Because
No,
Well,
because if he's a minute, if Oscar was a minute ahead and then someone crashes in the back and you're like, okay, it's time for overtime. It's like, wait a minute, I'm 100 points up, basically.
Tough shit.
Right.
Tough shit. Oh, Guenther says overtime.
I like it. Guenther's just. Is this you've been texting with Michael Massey, haven't you?
No. Actually, we need to ask his opinion about it. That's a good
we
idea.
need to get him on the podcast. Is what really is definitely needs to happen.
Where is he? Is he in witness protection program? Where is he, Guenther?
Obviously, that's a good idea. We invite him and get his ideas because then we steer some real shit up here. You know?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Maybe he's even listening to our podcast. You know, I sent him a text afterwards. Yeah.
Speaking of race control, Guenther, we should start at the beginning of the weekend.
Yes.
With qualifying.
Yes.
What are your opinions? What are your opinions on the yellow flag, and how Lando handled the yellow flag? I mean, there's a lot of pundits talking about how the yellow flag was handled, both on the marshal side and on the driver's side.
I think on the marshal side, the guy saw something he thought, for safety reason, he has to wave the yellow flag, which I can somehow understand the guy. You know, he sees something going wrong there, wants to make sure nothing bad happens. Can you imagine he doesn't put the yellow flag out and something bad happens? We always say, who was the idiot not waving the yellow flag, you know? Obviously, did maybe Lando react too quick? But I understand that as well, because if you see a yellow, there must something happen, otherwise they wouldn't wave it. You don't assume that the yellow flag is for nothing. Never assume, and it wasn't for nothing. There was a car there. So I think tough shit. He got unlucky, you know. I think both of the guys, was the yellow flag necessary at the end with hindsight? Maybe not. But, you know, now we all know better. But then, again, Lando, should he have taken more risk and keep a little bit more foot on the throttle? But he didn't expect that the yellow flag going away in a second or two, you know. So I think both persons did the best they could at the time, and it ended up to be bad for Lando. So I wouldn't blame anybody for that one, because it's like, you know, the marshal wanted to do a good job. He saw something going slow, the Alpine, and thought the guy will be in the way or will get stopped when the other one comes full speed. So I think it, you know, unfortunate.
Who makes that call? It's like the roadside marshal? Is that
he can make that call himself as well if he sees something before race control sees, because if there's a big crash and cars are coming, he's the first one to see, because race control sees it on a monitor, and obviously they cannot react quickly enough.
And how much is that marshal getting paid, Guenther?
A lot of nothing.
Wow, interesting.
So
let's just be clear here: the championship of Formula One at the end of the day might have been partially decided by a guy who's just volunteering. Is that correct?
They are volunteering, and I think they are very well trained. And I always respect the marshals a lot, what they do, you know, because they put a lot of effort in. And if you see, as we just said, they don't get paid, you know. Some of them travel around the world on their own expense to be a marshal. I mean, I take my hat off to these people, you know, and I really... I
respect them too, but I mean, if they're very, it's a very important position.
They are very
Why
well
is
trained.
Formula One who's running Formula One? Gene Haas? What's going on here? Why are they so cheap?
Yeah, are they?
If he would be running it, there would be no marshals, you know. Because in the end they get food and accommodation, you know. So.
But would if you were czar of F1, would you pay these people? Would you create a professional class of people?
I don't think you can do that, because it is not, and these people like to do it. They are part of why motorsport is like a fraternity, you know. For them, it's important to be there. This is people, and they've got good training, you know, because they've got one job to do. They don't have to, they obviously know what they have to do. They get trained, they get instructed what to do. So I think this is all people which they know more about motorsport than the three of us together, most of them, you know. So I give a lot of respect to them, you know. I wouldn't critique them. Because in the end, they take safety. But that's what I say. The guy thought there was a safety issue. That's what I say. He did the right thing. He waved the yellow flag. That's what he needs to do. That's what he's there for. You know, He's not the guy which decides the outcome or what the regulations say. He's there. If you think this is dangerous, do it. And maybe this guy has done 100 Grand Prix in this position. and maybe wave the flag 10 times, maybe never. But he knew what to do.
Okay, but then you said you just had this overtime thought, right? Is there not like some type of in a situation like that where someone's qualifying lap gets compromised, and then is there any thought in your mind towards like that happened and then this person's lap is null and void, and had Oscar been the guy behind, maybe Oscar is starting in 15th, over the weekend.
It could have been anybody, but
Right.
that was an unfortunate situation. But I'm saying the overtime is more for me like for not to end the race under yellow, put it this way,
Yes.
Sure.
But yes, which what you're describing, Brian, falls under the tough shit category that
Right.
Guenther so eloquently described.
Yes. Something's
so-
fall under tough shit.
So Lando was out of the picture, but Oscar was in the picture. What are your impressions of Oscar Piastri, Guenther?
I mean, I'm speaking here with fan number one, Oscar Piastri, Matt. Fan number one.
Fan
Number two, his mother is more than you.
no,
right.
fan no, her favorite driver is Yuki Tsunoda, so I think I
Yeah,
might
that's
be
true.
number one.
Okay, all right, you're number
and
one.
our favorite driver is also Yuki Tsunoda, but Oscar's making it. So
yes, I might be number 2 biggest fan. But do you think that it's so interesting because we went into the weekend, they're rolling out the red carpet for Lando. They say, team orders, we're going to err on the side of Lando. And then it was actually team orders the other way. What do you think Oscar showed you this weekend? Do you think it changes McLaren's calculus? And if you're Zach Brown, what are you doing going forward?
what's the plan?
What's the plan?
What's the plan? I think the plan is still to support Lando because he can actually win the championship, the drivers' championship. So I think they need to do that because with Oscar, obviously he's got less points, so that's what I would still support Lando. But for sure, Oscar will have opportunities in the future. The guy is so good, the guy is just like what he did there is just showed that he's mature. Obviously, but he's in the moment second in the team standings or behind his teammate. So there where it is. That is why I would support Lando to go forward because Lando did a good job to come from 17th and where he ended up. So you cannot blame him. He made up points, overtook Max Verstappen, which started. What did he start? 6th, I think. Max.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
and he started
15th,
17th.
He started 15th technically because
Oh.
on the day. But he passed him. Yeah,
They passed him. So again, the best chance they've got with Lando, and you always need to, my opinion, take
You
the
think
best
they got a good chance?
They got a very good, better than that, a very good chance.
Yeah.
I think.
I've been thinking about this too because it's like
You didn't lose any.
Brian's back. He's back.
put on the tinfoil hat, but it more so than it's like what that's showing was. I think Matt's not ready to put the fork in Red Bull yet because these are maybe tracks that don't suit them. But the fact that he was
it doesn't suit them. Where was Checo Perez? It didn't suit them. All right, he was going for the win.
Sure,
it suited them.
Well, it didn't suit. It didn't suit Max, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like when we talk about them, we mean Max because now all of a sudden Max is the one who's having trouble. Where do you see this Red Bull car given that performance? Because when you say they have a very good chance, it means that just statistically, like unless Lando wins out, if Red Bull is like on the podium or flirting with podiums, then he's not going to win. So they'll have to be like consistently from 6th to 10th. Or is that where you're seeing them for the rest of the year still?
Red Bull.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see the 6th to 10th, but I don't see them winning races. In the moment they are too far off. I don't see them, or the other ones are too far ahead, And now with Ferrari coming in the mix as well, so Ferraris will take some points away from Red Bull. So
Red Bull,
Red Bull. So I think that if they would just fight against McLaren, it's one thing, but now they've got also to fight Ferrari, which take points away from them. So I think it's very difficult, and I say obviously Lando needs to do better than he did in Baku, but again, it was not his entirely, or it wasn't his fault that the yellow came out. What can he do about that one?
Could
but
have
in the race
banked a lap a better lap, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's
he
not
didn't
his fault.
plan,
Yeah, but Oscar didn't do that either. So they were clearly like not. They didn't have that pace going forward. But where do you see? Because now there's a lot of talk about kind of like, this might be Lando's ahead. This might be the year where Lando is ahead of Oscar. But in the long term, did Oscar is Oscar revealing himself to be like kind of top dog over there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think for next year, if they're in the same position like this, I think they let them race for half the season and see who is in front. And Oscar, obviously, I think the guy is mentally managing everything so cool. I don't know how that becomes when he's leading the championship, because in the moment, he has nothing to lose. He has nothing to prove. He's second to Lando. Mm-hmm. You just do what you need to do. And it's not as easy as I explain it, but it's a lot easier than when you have pressure, So I think he's in that good position. But again, for a young guy like this to be in that position is very good, because then when he gets on the other side, he's ready for it, because he has done it. He has won races. He has been under pressure, so he has got the controversy going for him because he didn't want to let Lando be number one. So he has done a lot of stuff this year, which prepares him even better for the future.
That 50-50 move is harder to pull off maybe when you're like in the hunt for a championship. It's
easier to chase than be chased.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So Guenther, I'm going to ask you a tough question. You're Zach Brown. Lando comes into your office and he goes, him or me?
I love you both.
Good answer. Good answer.
I love all my children.
I love all my children equally.
Exactly.
But if you want to be number one boy, if you want to be
just be faster.
Yes.
Or do you think if because this happens at these teams, right? It's like, while Red Bull said that Daniel Ricciardo and Max were going to get the 50-50 treatment, he was seeing the writing on the wall. He was like, they've chosen the young whippersnapper, and I'm kind of old news, and he left. Now, that's been a tough road for him. Maybe he should have stayed, but this does find its way to happening sometimes, where like the team kind of just naturally starts leaning in a direction, does it not?
Yeah, but I think of McLaren, because they're both so good. I don't think it has started yet. It will start. I mean, obviously, if next season they start the season leading, immediately, being in the same position as this year, there will be some decisions be made, and there will be problems for some people, but for one of the two. But in the moment, I think it's too early for that one. I think they try to accommodate whatever needs to be done, and they didn't expect to be in this position at the beginning of the year. So it's a little bit new. But next year, when they start the championship, for sure the drivers saying, so who is dog number one and who is dog number two?
Right. But is it inevitable, Vettel sort of edging out Weber, Ricciardo edging out Vettel, Max edging out Ricciardo, like that natural progression of just edging of one driver?
But Lando is still pretty young, huh?
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did you see Mark Webber in the paddock after? Because the stories were that he was going around just like, punching people who had said bad things about Oscar in the arm. Like, you idiot. Was he pumped up?
What was the vibe? He was like a proud father, No, and he deserves it. And I told him, because I think what Oscar, and I think I said it here before, what Oscar did to pick him, it's very good, because Mark came from Australia, went into Formula One, didn't have shitloads of money, made his own way, learned a lot of lessons. It's a very smart guy, politically very smart, good mover, knows what to do. And Oscar, obviously, is an intelligent kid, which listens to the old guy and says, if he tells me he has done it wrong and this is how to do it better, I do what he says. You learn so much more than making every bad experience yourself or every wrong decisions, obviously now Mark is very proud of it. But I told him, you should be proud of it, because you're a big part of his success, because he's just so mature, and that for sure has something to do with you. Maybe not everything. I mean, he has got parents as well, which must be pretty good, It's not only Mark. So,
right.
But obviously, the people which didn't, but it's always like this in Formula One. You get always the naysayers. So And I guess that's what you're referring to, that Mark went to all them and told them, to go and pound sand.
Right. Yeah. But it's interesting because this is related to you. We read Kevin Magnuson's book, and it was all about how, his dad wasn't around and he had the worst managers, and it always seemed like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and how important having a good mentor is.
Yeah, but I guess he picked also the wrong people, because the manager you pick yourself. Nobody tells you who to take,
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes you need to take responsibility for moves you make in life as well, Oscar could have said to Mark, I don't want to work with you because, I don't know, you're too tall or whatever, So, no, he said, okay, I see what you have done. I respect it. Let's do it together,
Right. But you've talked about, you've mentioned how like Carlos Sainz Sr. has been an integral part of Carlos Sainz's a lot of those decisions, because he's had that good, those good people around him. But here's the thing: they've chosen McLaren, but Guenther, McLaren's cheating. That's what this.
Oh,
they're cheating, Guenther. This is what everyone's saying. They look at the wing. The wing is moving.
It was the front wing. It was the front wing. Now it's the back wing.
Both wings are moving. What are your thoughts on this? These cheating allegations towards McLaren?
I think it was the same with the front wing. The FIA clarified it's legal, because how it is measured, this is okay to do. And they will do the same with the rear wing. They came up with something, and it seems like the trend now, instead, if you didn't invent it, it must be legal, I always say, if somebody's creative and finds a loophole or a gray area and uses it, fine. And then the FIA will say, okay, up to now it is okay, but next year we close that loophole, we do it different. And that's the right process, So that keeps also innovation going. You cannot just always say, it could be legal, but they say it's illegal, but the FIA is saying, how it is written, you can do this,
Right.
Guenther, have you ever snitched on somebody?
No.
Not once? You never snitched on anybody to the FIA?
No.
Real G's move in silence like lasagna. Well, why not? You never saw Sauber or one of the other or Aston or one of the back
exactly one of the other back markers that you interrupted. Yeah, as I always said, finishing 16 or 17 there's no difference. So
you never piled on Red Bull. You're like, who gives a shit? They're way
exactly.
up there.
Whatever they do, they're quicker than us. So
what is the snitching process?
You go and run to the FIA, and first the snitching process. So some bright guy will come up with, this is why we are not winning in the team, because they are doing something illegal. It's not that I'm bad. It's just like they are illegal. They are cheating. So
right.
I'm good, but they're cheating. I'm not this good because I'm not cheating. I'm a good guy. So they bring you all the evidence. This is what they're doing, and then you just go to the FIA and say, hey, FIA, this is what they're doing. And the FIA is like, well, we didn't know that. So they look into it, come up with their conclusion, and they tell you.
Who's the biggest snitcher on the grid? Who's like who's on the podium of the biggest snitchers on the grid?
Everybody who doesn't win, or everybody who is not dominating, is a snitcher. It's the same for everyone. Yeah. There's not one in particular. They all get really taken away by it. Or I just don't win.
So Zach Brown used to snitch, and now he's being snitched on.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
It feels like, to an extent though, like when Mercedes in the dominance, like Red Bull was like, it was like every week there was a new thing that they were kind of like shooting the flare gun at. Though it feels a little bit less that Toto is as like trigger happy with that. Would you say that that's maybe the case?
No, Toto complained about, we're going to get into this, but Toto had the email printed out about the porpoising being unsafe. Toto made it a whole human rights issue about the porpoising and the ride height.
Toto normal is clever enough to send somebody else to snitch up. He manipulates people from behind. You should go and say this one, So
yes.
And then he finds someone. I'm going. Off he goes, and Toto is like...
Okay, but let's talk about...
Puppet master.
Yeah, puppet master. That's what I was looking for.
Christian did come out and say recently that they did an upgrade that screwed them back in
2023.
Spain. In 2023, sorry. In 2023.
Yeah, he said, this is the quote. Christian said, we traced the development history back And it turned out that the first mistake we made was with an underbody upgrade in 2023 in Barcelona. That was also the Grand Prix in which Checo started having problems with the car. We just didn't take it so seriously because Max kept winning. So what Christian's kind of saying here is that like these flaws have been in the car since Spain of last year. But because Max was just like, what problems with the car? I'm Max Verstappen. I'm incredible. They just ignored it. And now if anything, this last weekend, Max was suffering with it worse than Checo. So this sickness has
the disease has spread now.
And for a lot of people, this is vindicating to Checo. See, Checo is just as good as Max. This is proof if not better,
right.
This is proof that there was a problem, and now they're both infected with this problem. And Max, even though he won the world championship in record fashion last year, this is now that they're both suffering equally. This is proof that Checo was right all along.
You're basing your comments on one race, Baku.
Yes, I'm basing it on the storylines that are coming out of this race.
Yeah. But Checo in Baku was always very good. I mean, Christian said it himself. You know, if there would be 24 Bakus, Checo would be world champion.
Well, actually, no, he'd have 0 fucking points. But
okay, let's talk about this crash. Let's talk about this crash because there's a lot of, they called it a racing incident, but there's a lot of people on either side saying no, Carlos.
This is like the election. It's very divisive.
No, but Checo was on the racing line. Oh, but this.
But Carlos was ahead and he was just rejoining. But
where are you placing blame for this crash? Like, what are your thoughts on the crash?
I know. Wait, can I guess what you're going to say? They're both idiots.
I wouldn't say idiots. They're both at fault. You called them idiots. I mean, they're both. they both could avoid it. They both could have avoided the incident. You know, they didn't.
Right.
What are they? Both idiots. You're right.
Okay, but you're in an insurance company. Who's paying the insurance premium? Whose in premiums are going up? Come on.
Both of them.
Okay.
Checo Perez, because I've looked at his history and it's not looking good for him.
No, it's not looking good.
But also within the context though, think about the context of this because Carlos doesn't need this race to go well. Carlos is at Williams next year. It's not like he's has something that much to lose right now. Not as much as Checo, where it's like this whole season, all the hawks have been swirling. Are we going to start picking at you? This is your specialty race. And he's like, and you're having a day that's like, I'm better than Max today. Look at me. And he crashes the car. Max finishes ahead of him. Checo
just didn't move.
Some of that into consideration?
Yeah, he just didn't move. He just stayed there. It's like, I'm not moving. Crash into me.
Crash into me. Yeah.
I would say that Checo should have just waited. I mean, he had 3 laps. It was 3 laps to go, I think. You know, he had plenty of time because he was the fastest car out there at the time. You know, him and Sainz. So, but he got a little bit too happy to go. You know, he was getting anxious. You know, so I think he just have taken a little bit more time. Could he have beaten Piastri? I don't think so. But could he have P2 was achievable? He just need a little bit more. I think that was more to blame than their crash itself, that he wasn't patient. He just wanted it all there and then, you know. And then
got his blood up.
Exactly, yeah. He stood up behind the wheel, you know, and tried to do something which wasn't there, you know. By the way, he didn't take the safety belts off, you know, Matt. So it was safe, you know. Otherwise, he gets disqualified. No, but I think he just wait a little bit longer. He had a few laps to go. And Leclerc was really struggling with tires. I mean, he could see it. If you're behind a car and you're struggling, you see it, you know. So he just got, you know, that was why it happened.
But rumor has it that Checo might be safe.
It sounds like also to me, Checo's pretty safe after the Baku race, you know. So
and that somebody else might be in jeopardy.
Yeah, there is rumors that Danny is not here anymore. Next year, maybe even this year, he's already gone. So, you know.
Yeah, there's strong rumors coming out that Daniel Ricciardo will be replaced with Liam Lawson after Singapore.
Yeah, these are rumors which are out there, and let's see what is happening, because they must announce this pretty soon if they do it. So.
And how do you justify Daniel's firing? And are you in agreement with if someone's got to go, it's Daniel and not Checo?
It's a difficult question. It's like, I think they both are not doing what is expected from them. But as you said, Danny seems to be that he's leaving. Seems to be. We are not 100% sure, but yeah, we have got our informations. So. And Checo, I mean, we are all surprised that he's still there. We are all, I mean, everybody thought after, it was the same, but maybe with Danny it's the same thing after or before Spa. Everybody was like, yeah, that's his last race, for Checo. And then he was confirmed after Spa, the Monday after Spa. No, he's staying, And could be the same with Danny. Maybe it's a little bit of propaganda making. Now, maybe Danny is not in the car anymore in Austin, but let's see. But I don't know.
And how does Mattia feel about Danny Ricciardo? Do we know?
No idea how he feels
no
about
idea. Him. If only you knew him.
If I only could call him.
Well, I think, but also there's, these rookies. These rookies are out here showing their stuff, saying, no, we can hang. I mean, Colapinto had points. Bearman had points. They were both racing against Lewis Hamilton. Strong racecraft. Both, Bearman passing Hülkenberg on the final lap of the, before the VSC. Colapinto out qualifying Alex Albon. Like, what are your impressions of these young guns?
Very good. I mean, I'm surprised, positively surprised what they did. Yeah. Both of them, fantastic job, I would say, especially Colapinto, because he was not the guy which was talked a lot before about, or not talked at all, in my opinion. But, he just came in there and, got it done.
What does it say about the F2 pipeline that someone like Colapinto, who's not on the radar, that's not too high up in the standings, can actually just come in and perform? Are we just missing talent? Are we just missing it?
I think we have to ask us that ourselves. But Colapinto is in front of Bearman and Antonelli in the classification of F2. We have to be fair on that one as well.
But everyone's writing Prema off because that team is really struggling.
They won a few races. Yeah, they had a difficult beginning of the year. But Colapinto, which team is he in F2?
Currently in 7th, but he hasn't raced.
But he was 5th. When he stopped racing, he was 5th.
Yeah.
He was 5th in an MP car. Right. MP. They're not a bad team, but they are not Prema or ART. So I wouldn't say that he had any big advantage of that one. So. I think he's good, but what does it say about the guys which are winning F2? How good could they be? We have no idea.
Right.
So, but
I mean, Bortoletto had this incredible drive in Monza, right? So Bortoletto's kind of
he's a hot topic in F1.
He's a hot topic right now. Well, there's this looming Audi seat.
Yeah, this
Audi seat. Bottas has been kind of talking about how there's contract, we're dealing with stuff behind the scenes, but then Bortoletto's raised, put his flag in the air. Obviously, Colapinto, he's at Williams right now, but both those seats are locked up for next year. He's, throwing his hat into the ring.
Now, Danny is in the ring,
Danny might be in the ring, exactly.
Yeah.
If you are your good friend Mattia Binotto, if you would text him saying if it's between these four guys, who would you throw your weight behind?
Ooh. I'm not trying to escape the answer like you will say. I never spoke. I mean, I spoke once with Bortoletto, said hello to him. I never spoke with Colapinto. Before you say so, I would like to speak with the people, get to know them a little bit better, how they fit in.
I'm leaving. I'm kidding.
Goodbye.
What are you looking for when you're talking to these? What's going to be revealed to you when you? Is Is it kind of a strong handshake on that one? You know, is this a little bit of Moneyball?
You sound like my boomer. You sound like my boomer parents. Like, shake their hand, be respectful, look them in the eye.
Have you ever seen the movie Moneyball, Guenther?
No.
Or read the book?
No.
I think you would. This is again in which movies would Guenther like? I think that you would like that. It's all about the kind of the baseball world, which went from a very like vibes way of dealing with people to like all just what's in the data, what's
analytics.
In the statistics.
And it's about a guy who runs a team that's basically Haas. The guys have to pay for their own.
Oh,
drinks.
Guenther, you would fucking love it. You would love Moneyball. I
need to watch it.
You would love Moneyball.
They got no money. This team has no money, so they have to get scrappy to win.
Yes, and he starts he starts getting these guys who just like everyone's written off because they're like they walk funny or they like have a weird batter's stance, and then like he throws sidearm, so like no one gives a shit about this pitcher,
or he has an ugly girlfriend. Like they make weird like decisions based on things that are not relevant.
Yes.
It's a great movie
and a great book.
Yeah, and he just hires a bunch of K-Mags and Hulkenbergs, and they start winning.
Yeah, they're winning. Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Yes.
And the guy who plays your character, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
He's everywhere. This Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. Bankers, as you know, we have teamed up with BetMGM this season, and we are using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks. And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY and you will get up to $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here is how it works. You download the BetMGM app and you sign up using the bonus code DADDY, because we're fun. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. You'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use the bonus code DADDY when you sign up. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY and get your first $1,500 first bet offer today. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and over. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY for New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Indiana. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. Now back to the show.
So yeah, what are the intangibles you look for to driver?
What are the intangibles that you're looking for? I want to talk to them. What are you looking for?
Try to find out if he's a team player. Try to find out how mature a rookie is. You know, I mean, if the rookies, obviously, the other ones I know pretty well. Try to see if mentally, he's ready for it. It's difficult to do in a meeting, I know that, but you need at least some idea what you're dealing with. You cannot just say, because you two guys tell me, oh, get Bortoletto, he's pretty good, he's in this and this car, or get Colapinto, No, I would need to check myself, because obviously if it doesn't work out, it's my fault and not yours. So it's just a lot of things you look at. If you don't know somebody, it's the same like, I think you work with people to figure them out. It's not a 1 minute job or come by reputation. You need to find out yourself. So it's a lot of things I would look at, how the people present themselves, if they buy into my philosophy of what I want to do. Matt is laughing. He's asking, how in the hell did I end up with these two guys?
No, I thought of a really bad nickname for you, and I'm debating whether to say it.
Let's hear it.
It's R-rated. G-spot.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Anyway, so G-spot. Have you ever met a driver, like in a meeting with a driver candidate, and you don't have to say names, but I'm encouraging you to, and he like pulled out his phone or did something, and you're like, nah, no way.
No.
Never?
It'd be too easy. No, I mean,
okay.
That's too easy.
Dude, this guy, he had Nikita Mazepin on his team, baby.
I'm sophisticated,
Let's say you were a team principal of, let's just pretend for a second that you were a team principal of Haas. You see Ollie Bearman's performance. Is part of you just like, can we get him in now? What percentage of you is like that?
That's a good question.
Where did you come up with that one? Who told you to ask this question?
My inner child.
I mean, it would be worth considering, because I think there is a big fight going on for P7, P6, P7, P8, because P8 now Williams has woken up, so you need to do the best you can. You need always to do so. It could be an option, It's like, hey, the guy is well motivated. We'll give him a heads up for next year as well. You prepare him better for next year. You have to consider that one as well. That's worth something, If you would say he's equally like Kevin, but he's the driver next year, so helping him along. Obviously, it's not as easy to get out of the contract with Kevin, but maybe Kevin would agree. You tell him we pay you anyway, So
right.
Go around the beach. Maybe he likes that. I mean, I don't know.
Is that the headache? Is that you'd have to pay both of them? You'd have to pay Ollie to come in early, and you'd have to pay Kevin to leave.
I think Ollie would come pretty cheap. I would say, you wouldn't have to pay him because it helps him. He would say, yeah, I've got 7 races to be trained. Obviously you want something, but it's not like that will break the bank. It's more like what would it cost for Kevin to tell him not to come back anymore? But it's one of the things you would need to consider. And even if you think it, and even if you cannot do it, you would maybe speak with Kevin about it. Maybe he's all right with it. You never know.
He qualified Hulkenberg. I mean,
which was amazing.
Kevin almost never does that.
Which
and
was
he did it his first try.
It was amazing. But maybe Hulkenberg didn't have his best qualifying, but that's no excuse. We don't have to find excuses. He should have done better than that. So, and Hulkenberg for sure wasn't happy about it. I'm pretty sure about that. But, as you said, it isn't it's actually quite an intelligent thought, Matt,
You should tell Gene, maybe, can you text Gene and say that you know a guy with a bunch of great ideas?
Yeah, okay. I mean, if I tell him for sure, you don't have a chance, by the way. It's like...
Okay.
What do you think, just keeping on the rookies before we head to the rest of the stuff, that Colapinto out-qualifying Albon, his second race in F1. There's been a lot of talk about Albon, that he's great. Oh, Albon's amazing. He's great. But he's, Matt's been pointing this out for a long time, and I'm starting to drink his Kool-Aid a little bit. Like, is the Albon, he's top talent train maybe under threat? What does this say about that? And where next year with Sainz and him, do you see that as being equal footing, or do you think Sainz going to wipe the floor with him?
No, I think Albon is pretty good, But if you're a long time with a teammate, which is not challenging you, you get slower as well. That's my opinion about it, And obviously, this will be a wake-up call for Alex. This is a wake-up call. And it's the same for Nico, for Hülkenberg. They will not take this well, It's like, wow, what just happened, Because, and I think they both were in a very cushy situation. Their teammate, they could manage him pretty well, They knew what to do to be faster than him. And all of a sudden, they both have got these rookies coming in and like, oh, I'm number 2 now. Which, again, in a team, it's very good to have to be challenged. That's what I always say. Teammates shouldn't be the best friends because then they don't challenge each other. There need to be a competition between them. They need to get on and respect each other. But they don't need to be too friendly because like, oh, you're my buddy, It's quite a good lifestyle here, And especially by teams which are not able to win the World Championship or go on the podium. It's much easier to go, okay, I'm 12th, 11th, 15, 16. Yeah, what's the real difference? Not really any, So
right.
I think for them and for a team, it's good to sometimes steer the shit up,
Yeah, pressure creates diamonds.
Yeah.
And then Bearman and Ocon next year. Are you seeing that? I think Ocon's coming in thinking I'm going to be the elder statesman, but I don't know. Bearman is throwing in performances like this. I think it could be tough running for Ocon next year.
I think Ocon, after seeing Bearman in Baku, is not like you just said. I'm the older statesman, but I need to pull my socks up here because otherwise the younger one runs all over me.
I am with you on that. Okay, let's get to Rockstar and Wanker of the Week, brought to you by Cash App. Guenther, who is your Rockstar for Baku?
That's pretty clear. It was Piastri. The overtake he did there, it was just like, man, it was quite cheeky how he did it, you know? I mean, it's like, I wouldn't even say brave. It was just cheeky. Leclerc didn't expect it. He just did it out of the blue, this maneuver, you know? It was like, what just happened, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because nobody expected it. It was pretty cool. So he
picked
earned
his
that
pocket.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, picked his pocket.
Attenzione, pick a pocket. Have you seen those videos, Guenther?
No.
There's a woman in Italy who just watches, who just looks out for pickpockets because it's so rampant in this one neighborhood in Rome, I think. Is it Rome, Brian, or where is it?
Rome and Naples, one of the two, yeah.
Yeah. And she just, whenever she sees someone do it, she goes, what does she say, Brian?
Attenzione, pick a pocket. Attenzione,
I can see that you're an actor, you know. You studied that one deeply.
And she follows them with her phone, and she's just like yells at them and calls attention to them, and it was it took over the internet for a few months there over the past year. But yeah, that's what Oscar did. That's what Oscar did to Charles Leclerc. And Charles Leclerc thought that he could, I got plenty of laps to go. I'll be able to get my wallet back. No.
Tough shit again. Tough shit.
Oscar was counting. Oscar was in that cool down room counting Charles's cash.
Yeah.
Okay, who's your wanker for Baku?
Who we have got as a wanker for Baku?
We've got Checo and Carlos. We've got Max. Maybe dare I say Max Verstappen?
No, we need to give it. No. We need to give it to Sauber, I think, because they are so slow. I think they shouldn't go the last 6 races. They should be told, do not even come along, guys. It's no need for you guys, you know.
Wow, but they had the fastest pit stop, Guenther.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Oh,
that's an improvement.
Yeah. But how many points did they get for that?
They should do a fastest pit stop fastest lap. What do you think of that idea?
To get an additional point if you have the fastest pit stop.
Yeah.
One team, like a fastest lap, each team, they should compete for fastest pit stop. What do you think?
Not really. No.
Okay.
No.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Is this the worst? Is this this Sauber team? I mean, no one's even at all thinking about them talking.
Okay.
No. I mean, I was last. I admit that. You know, people can become me. Yeah. I know why, but I don't think we were this bad.
Really? The Mazepin years?
No, I mean, but we knew there was no development. The car was a 1-year-old car. We hadn't even get a pot to piss in, you know, and that is what it comes out. But they work as a normal F1 team. I mean, they are owned by Audi. They are not owned by.
What do you think's going wrong there?
I don't know. Mattia will sort it out anyway. That is the only thing I can tell.
Okay, all right. I have a question. What is it like to be Sauber? Because you kind of know.
Fuck, you know, it's frustrating. Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, the weekends are long, man. You know? When you get there on Thursday, it's like, fuck, when do we get out of here? Because you know what's coming. You know what's coming. It's all over the pit wall, you know? You're last.
How hard is it to to really try when you're in that position? You know what I mean? Because it's like when you're kind of that far, it's like, what are we trying? It's like,
how do you even get up out of bed? It's like, what is the point?
You want to put your energy, you want to get in an ideal, in a working scenario, you want to get back what you put in.
Exactly.
And I think when you're in a situation like that, you're just like, I give and I give and I give. Right? It's like, how do you keep giving, or at some point do you kind of throw your hands up?
It's how I did in 21. It was like, I knew there was nothing, but then you just look at 22. What are you doing for that? That's the only, that's what I say. You go to the race weekend, you know, it will be what it is, you know exactly what to expect, but then you vote for 22. And I think that is the thing Mattia now in the moment is doing. He doesn't, I don't think that he's volunteering to go to a race. I think it's difficult enough to watch on TV. But if you're at the race and you're reminded every 5 minutes from somebody how shit you are, it's not a nice position to be in, you know.
But if you're Guenther Steiner, you're like, I'll focus on 2022. But if you're a race engineer, if you're a mechanic, how are you giving like that? And you have to lift the car up and fix it when it's wrecked, and make sure that you're doing your job in the present, in not next year, now, as hard as you can. How do you keep that pace up? I'm surprised Sauber did the fastest pit stop, knowing that they're going to get last. That's very impressive, actually.
You pick a challenge what you can actually do, and this is you can do the quickest pit stop, and you try to do that one because you know you will not have any points because the car doesn't give it to you, you know. Right. But it's not easy, and what you need to do to people as a leader, saying, "Hey guys, we are working on this, that, and the other to make it better," you know, and then they keep on going. And in the end, you're doing a job, and this is all people which, you know, they're committed, but it's not easy. I mean, as you say, can you imagine as a race engineer, you get up in the morning, try to make a setup, and you know, whatever you set up, it will be shit, you know. It's like, all right, you know, I make a setup, whatever spring I put in, whatever anti-roll bar I put in, whatever wing level I set, it will be shit, you know. It's like tough.
Do you think they're like kind of in because the Audi, you know, switch is happening down the road, that there is a degree where they're kind of in somewhat of a similar position that you were in 21?
Yeah, I think so.
Like,
yeah.
Like, what are we really building here when, like, you know, Mattia's out in the fact, like, this is all kind of going to be different in 2 years?
Yeah, but it's, I mean, the position there is, I don't know what they're doing for next year. I have no idea. But obviously their focus is on 26 when it will be Audi, with also the Audi powertrain and everything. But it's just like, I don't know what they've got in the pipeline for next year. I have no idea. But it isn't easy where they are now.
Vankas, not only does Cash App sponsor our favorite perfectly branded Formula One team, but they also make it easier for you to save money so you can do things that you love, like going to an F1 race. Boobies! Listen, to be honest, we thought that Cash App is just a way to send people money, right? You just send people money. Hey, Cash App me. Okay, I got you. But actually, it's a faster and simpler way to bank. You can start saving with as little as $1 with no hidden fees, no minimum balance requirements, and no account fees. Minimum balance requirements is crazy. It's just like, let me live. And Cash App lets you do that. And we all know that overdraft fees make no sense. Why are you charging someone if they don't have any money? Plus, when you deposit $300 or more in paychecks, you can get up to $50 in free overdraft coverage. It pays to get paid on Cash App. So go download the app today. Now back to the show.
This brings up a fan question I've been meaning to ask for a while.
From Shiv B 200, how did you balance the immediate needs of the team with the long-term development goals? Is that the question you were thinking of?
Yeah, but I want to add an amendment. It's easy when you're in last to be like, we'll focus on next year. But like, let's say you're Ferrari or McLaren and you're like in the middle of a fight. How do you balance how to spend your resources and the money? Like, how in a budget cap era do you balance like your money and your people and straddle 2 years at once? How does that work?
Now, because next year is the last year of this regulation, I think everybody's still developing for this year because that you carry over also to next year. Next year, there will be no big evolution on the cars. Nobody will be completely, because I would say next year comes April, everybody's on 26 full time, you know, and when I say full time, it's 80%. There will be little things going in the wind tunnel, but not a lot, because it's not worthwhile to do it. But in the moment, I think especially this year, people is still, and when you are fighting, because think about it, McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, they still can win something, you know, so they have to focus on this year. They cannot say, oh, we leave it now, we are happy to be third. No, if you're Ferrari, you want to become second, because that makes a big difference. Or maybe even if you do a fantastic job, you can even win the championship. You know, they have to try. McLaren needs to keep on going to win the championship. And I think Red Bull is like, we don't let this one go. And you just carry it in. I think the most challenged ones is Mercedes, where they say, hey, we are pretty safe in fourth, or not pretty safe. We are very, can we achieve third?
Right.
I don't think so, you know. So you say, hey, cut the losses this year and go for next year. But the first three, they are full on for this year. And everybody behind, It's like the people which are fighting for 7, they will be investing in this year because they have to. They have to. Otherwise, you don't know what's coming next year.
All right, I got a tougher question. When you're if you're in a title fight for 2025, do you and then you have the big reg change in 2026? How does that affect your calculus? Do you go all in on 2025 to try to win that one title, or even then do you have to because you might be nowhere the next year?
I think between the teams there, obviously you don't speak, but you know that everybody will let it go 25 because 26 is 5 years and you need to be ready.
I see.
It's no point. And you just watch also what the other ones are doing, get information if they are continuing or not. But it will pan out pretty evenly because even the guy which is challenging or the guy which is leading 25 championship, at some stage we say the next 5 years are too important to, and they know that who is challenging you will let go as well because not to be set up wrong for 26.
What if you're like a bottom team though? What if you're I'm having this image of like, yeah, they're all not working on their cars, and then like Williams is like, we're gonna work on we're gonna spend all of our money this year and we're just gonna tank the next 5 years.
They still will not win the championship, so don't worry. They will not have them thoughts, because the other ones are too far.
I'm with you. Speaking of 2025, do you think it's is it just going to be a bloodbath next year? Or is it just going to be like, it seems like it's gearing up for a very exciting season.
Yeah, I think the same. Yeah, mm-hmm.
It's a big toss up, and who knows who's going to come down with the ball.
Yeah, but I think the guys which are out in front now, because also from the regulation side, we reached almost the ceiling. What you can do with the car, where there is a performance in it. There is not a lot to come. That for people let go as well. But I think it will be a similar scenario like this year. If not anybody, maybe somebody comes up with something really great beginning of the year, but I don't think so.
What do you think Red Bull does? Do you think they're like, are these flaws going to extend to next year? Do you think they'll have solved them by then?
I think they're working on it now, and I think for sure something they will solve. But will they fix everything and get near McLaren now? I doubt it.
What do you attribute the fall off? Do you attribute Newey leaving, Wheatley leaving? Is there some causation there? Or is it just a coincidence that with Newey leaving and all these exits that they're starting to suffer?
For sure, it doesn't help. It doesn't help Adrian leaving, but it's not the only cause. I think it has more to do McLaren just doing a better job. I think it has more to do with that one, putting pressure onto them. People under pressure make more mistakes than without pressure. They had to do things which didn't work as they wanted, and but then they didn't know what to do to fix them. So and McLaren just keeps on putting performance on their car.
Yeah, I think I believe they brought an upgrade to Baku, and Max was like still struggling as much as ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, they seem to. There's definitely something there. Okay, well, Singapore's coming up. Singapore's on Sunday. What do you think is going to happen? What are your predictions?
I think McLaren strongest.
Which McLaren?
You said papaya last week. We let you off easy.
Yeah, but I need to say my honest opinion, papaya.
But which papaya?
Which papaya? I would say the English papaya gets a comeback,
Okay.
So Lando gets his comeback, so I think that one.
Where do you see Red Bull? Where is Max finishing? Because this doesn't, last year, this is the only race that Red Bull didn't win last year was Singapore.
I think there will be 5th, 6th.
Okay.
Again, 5th, 6th, nothing more, because I think the Mercedes could be a surprise there. Could be. I'm not sure about it, but the Ferrari will be okay. They normally do quite well on this kind of track, so
right.
It will be. I think behind the McLaren it will be tight, but I think out of the 4, Red Bull is the weakest one. Obviously, Max's magic can help a little bit, but he cannot do it all.
And thinking about Singapore, what are the things that going into that weekend?
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. Humid, hot.
And does that tear up? Is because they do the race at night? But yeah, do the tires tear up fast because of that?
No, I mean it does. No.
It's not really it's not a high deg track. It's just hot, and then when it rains, the rain just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. No,
if it rains, the rain it's just wet.
You just have to wait until it goes away. You have to wait a long time. No, I mean it's just one of these races that also for the drivers a pretty tough race. It's I think that one and Qatar are the hardest ones on the driver, and it's a night race, so it is different on that sense. But they're all used to it now. The teams are well prepared for it, so no big surprise there. It's more the stop and go. It's a stop and go track, It's right. It's demanding, but in general, it's a good race. Yeah.
Guenther, I got one more fan question for you. This is from @Elia. Which team's hospitality has the best coffee?
I was going to ask this too.
There is a contest always, and it's done, I think, by a Dutch a journalist. I think it's done. And last year, guess who won?
Haas.
Correct.
Wow.
Oh!
So at least we won something. Sauber had the quickest pit stop. Haas had the best coffee last year.
What?
At least we won something. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are the beans from, Guenther? Spill the deets.
Italy. I don't know the beans. No, the coffee's from Italy. The beans obviously not from Italy. I don't know where the beans are from, but the coffee was from Italy. Yeah.
Okay, who's got the best food?
Yeah.
I haven't eaten in all of them, but I think they're all pretty good. It's like, it's again saying there is 10 fantastic restaurants. It's, what you want today. I mean, it's like you can pick. I can tell you one thing. There's no bad food in any
Even
of the
Haas?
hospitalities.
Haas has good food too?
Yes, it's very good food. It's an Italian chef, which runs the company very well. I mean, I cannot say it's him because then I say you're biased to him, But no, there's a very good, everybody has good food there, I must admit, So.
Damn.
So which races are you coming to?
We are going to Austin.
You need to do a food test.
Vegas.
Okay.
Vegas will have good food.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just test the food in all the paddocks all of the garages that let us in, which are none of them.
None of them.
Pretty much.
That's
none
right.
Of them.
Do they have a personal problem with you? I can help you there to get a meal, a warm
Thank
meal.
you. We'll wear disguises.
We should be food critics for all the hospitality. That would be fun.
Exactly. Then you're let in everywhere. You see,
Pirelli was good.
Idea.
Pirelli was good. We ate in Pirelli. That was fun.
I always eat in Pirelli. Yeah. So,
yeah.
That's right. What about the F1? What about the F1 motorhome? What about like the F1? That's because that was Death Star vibes. That had an imposing.
Looked evil.
It was black and red, and it was.
You had to keep people like you out,
They
certainly did.
They certainly
Mission accomplished.
Guenther, I have to ask you this. We saw this with our own eyes. We saw a Pirelli engineer heat a tire, put her finger scraping the tire,
heating and scraping.
Put her finger in the heated tire, get some of the rubber in, and then put it in her mouth and taste the tire. Do you know of Pirelli doing?
You heard of this?
You heard of this?
I never heard of eating tires. Anyway, maybe we should try them. Maybe I
get the head of Pirelli on. We have to ask him about this.
Well, George Russell was had some pretty strong words about the tires. He was coming in like it's unacceptable that it seems like they don't know what's going on with the tires, and that we put on the mediums and it's this, we put on the hards and it's a completely different car. Was he like projecting and that this is Mercedes' responsibility but he's wanting to blame the tires? Is this what's the craftsman blaming his tools there?
I would say a little bit there. I mean, if the tires are the same for everyone, some gets to work. It is always difficult when you're there and your tire is not working. You blame the tire, that it isn't covering all the cars. But in the end, when Mercedes dominated, the tire, I wouldn't say was made for Mercedes, but it had to work on the Mercedes. And obviously, not having the downforce of a Mercedes, you couldn't get the tires to work on a bloody Haas and you cannot make a tire which works perfectly in both worlds. So you need to work on your car to make the tire work, So, because, it worked pretty well on the McLaren, I would say, And I'm not trying, just because I eat a Pirelli, I'm not just trying to find excuses for Pirelli.
I guess maybe his problem is that the medium will work on.
Exactly, they don't understand. Exactly, that is the thing. Why does it like this? That I think was more his questions. Why we cannot get both tires to work as we want them? But I think nobody did, because that's for their different tires.
Right, but because McLaren, the mediums weren't that good. They were better under the hards.
Yeah, the hards. Some of the teams are better on the hards. Some of them are better on the mediums. Right. It's your pick, and normally you want to be better on the hard because nobody do more laps on the harder.
There you go. So that's just McLaren set their car up to be better on the hards.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, whatever. Mercedes was good on their hards. But they were terrible on their mediums. Was what Russell was saying. They were totally nowhere on their mediums. He said on their hards, he was saying, and the hards were second faster than literally everyone. Faster than everyone on our hards.
Yeah, but he was he was analyzing it maybe straight after the race, which is not the right time to analyze tires.
Sure. All right. We've lollygagged enough. This was a great episode, G-Spot. All right. Thank us.
Goodbye.
Until next week.
Bye, Bankers.